Thanks for joining me today. I thought it would make sense to start to share the Akashic record information that I got starting back in 2022, the fall of 2022, through this current day, and just do it piecemeal over a period of time. For those of you who aren't familiar with the the Akashic records are the records that are held in the ethers of everything that's ever happened to individuals, souls, and the collective, time immemorial, and also the likely trajectory of the future based on current behaviors and movement. There was a man named Edgar Casey who lived in the early 1900s, and he was considered a sleeping prophet. So he went into people's records with them or for them, and he let them know what he saw and likely outcomes of their current behaviors and the trajectory of their life. But that there was alternate paths they could take, which would shift the outcome for them of their life in a more positive way. And so one of the reasons I'm sharing what I've received is this is the trajectory that we seem to be on. But so much of the information I've gotten, especially from Jesus, is if you go into your heart, you find love and forgiveness there, and you work from the place of the heart, things will turn out well for you. And when you go into the heart, you connect with the oversoul, which some people think is just you, and others believe the oversoul connects to a higher soul, God. So if we work together, as a collective on activating our own heart, our own cellular systems, or opening our chakras, we will become sovereign and freed from the enslavement of an agenda that might be counter to the agenda of love. What's really interesting about the information that I've gotten is much of it is similar to what fundamentalists are saying right now and have been saying. I don't come from that place. I'm not a fundamentalist Christian. I was raised Catholic, and I've, over the last 25 years, segued into many different types of spiritual forums and beliefs, and Buddhism, facets of Hinduism. I'm a yogi. I've worked with animal medicine and totems. I've learned about the Druids, and I believe that there is a space beyond the veil called Avalon that's existed. I believe in the nature elements. I've been slow to embrace the idea that there are extraterrestrials. It hasn't been something that has come naturally to me for whatever reason, but very much they are and have been a piece of what I'm hearing from in the Akash when I go in on almost a daily basis and have been for the last 2 years. So I think that was all I wanted to say. Except the last thing, actually, I thought of one more thing I want to say. The last thing I want to say is, why now? And I think that the reason I'm getting a push from higher realms to share right now is because I have a certain readiness and fortitude that I've developed over time, where I am able to say these truths that come from my heart and come from information that I've downloaded from the Akash without the worry that it's not going to be well received and I should say it in a certain way. I'm not totally there, but I'm at a place where they're like, okay, well, you're ready to share what information that you've garnered from the records. The other thing is potentially it's timely. I think that people are waking up slowly. People are starting to question an agenda that might not be in their best interest and find their own inner sovereignty and their own spark. I think that that is happening. It's at least my hope. So here we go. The first day I went into the Akashic Records was a very dear person in my life's birthday. It was November 6th, 2022. The first thing that came through was martial law, and the truth is going to be revealed, but we as humans need to know, need to be able to handle it. And upper realms want to have us in a certain readiness before we can hear truths. And then I saw darkness and a storm. And then I saw like an accordion and poison being sent from the Mount Shasta area into the ethers by dark forces. The state of Nevada and a Texas ranch came up, so maybe that interplays with these poisons being sent. And I don't know if that's like chemtrails or what. And the end is near. It'll be dark, and to hold on. I asked what my role was, and they said, we cannot say right now, but it's not going to be easy, but you'll accomplish what you've set out to accomplish. And that I was to play, that I was to have fun and play. And that's another message I've really been getting, especially of recent, like, don't stop your life. Like, start to plant the seeds of what you want in the future. What do you want to manifest? What kind of new earth do you want to see? And that so much can be changed through intentionality and love and manifestation. The second day was the truth is within you always. And I saw snakes in a hallway, and they said, brighter days will come, trust in this. And then I asked, who could I trust back then? And they said, no one. The time is for each of you to stand alone. So that was a very clear message that each of us needed to stand in our own truth of who we were and what we were about, and not to hold on to other people for protection. The streets will burn. You will step through a portal. Each person will be guided by their guardian angel, and to banish fear, that this was all necessary and planned, not to bring in fear, only love, and that the Kali Yuga phase, which is, a Vedic phase of existence, has ended and the new golden age has begun. They said karma isn't personal, it's a matter of destiny, cause and effect, and that I'm not exempt. You know this to be true. You are buffered, yes. You came here to uplift others and to be a beacon of light. And as I read this, I really want to stress the fact that I believe that whoever is listening to this message is not only for me, but it's also for you. So take these messages not as they're coming to me as the reader, but you as the listener also. The Black Plague, question mark. Yes, there are evil ones among you. They will be banished from the kingdom of God. It is biblical. It's in the records. So the plague, you could interpret many different ways, and that it wasn't just by accident that the Black Plague happened. What should I do next? They said, wait. I asked if I should vote. This was back in 2022, and they clearly said, don't take sides. Are we at a tipping point? I asked, and they said, you've been at a tipping point for a very long time. Are things going to change? And they said, rapidly. And then, of course, I went to safety and my default of food, and they said, if you need more food, buy more food. I said that I don't, and they said, then don't buy more food if you don't need it. We will be with you through this process, they reassured. Listen to your guides, and they will crosswalk you through this turmoil. Tell no one of this. The piercing light of time is upon you. I asked what I did before, and they said, you were a slave. You are now walking free to walk through the corridor of love. We are with you in numbers that are unfathomable. We are around your home. This goes out to all of us. They're around all of us. We are around your homes. You know, when you go to the doctors, there are troops on the ground. You go to work. It's not that others aren't trustworthy, they tell me. It's when you give away your power by sharing, you're at the mercy of how others will receive it. And they said, many will be tested and many will fail. And then I kind of, say to them, I'm lonely here. This is a lonely place to be, getting this information, not being able to share it, not having people who can relate to what I'm saying. And they said, we understand that I have my dog, and that they said that they thank me, that I'm in service to the light, and goodbye for now. I received a healing in a crystallized space. And then I saw this road filled with crystals, and that I would step through it, and there would be a courthouse, and I would step above it. They gave me dates back then, November 26th and November 11th, but not to worry. You're on the wings of love. And I made the assumption that those dates were back in 2022. And then, of course, in 2023, I made the assumption those dates were, for 2023, and so on. They tell me that much is going on behind the scenes and that the forces of nature will prevail. The hunger pains are nothing compared to the wrath of God. The forces of nature are upon you. Do not fret or worry. You and loved ones are protected from now until the darkest hour. Day in and day out, we are on vigil and carrying the torch of light. I received another healing this day, and I felt that I needed to be healed first before I could really be of service to others. I went to the void, and then I was finally lowered by a cord and caught by the earth. At that point, I was given a crown and a wand in this record day. Now fast forward to November 12th. I touch a spaceship that Jesus said, this is where I was born and this is where I will return. And I saw the date 1917, and I saw a Star of David. Be the chosen one to watch the truth happen. Nostalgia for Christmas came through for me from my childhood. And they said, Christmas will not happen this year. The snowflakes of dawn will fall on all of you to see with new eyes and hear with new ears. And so I'm not that good with my history. I knew World War I was about that time. But when I looked it up, I realized that 1917 was the day the United States got into the First World War. I said to them, this sounds apocalyptic. And they said, yes, be of the new light of dawning of America, the America's long overdue process that you will have to stake in the truths of tomorrow, which will rest in today. And you will see what I am now saying. Go about your day as all falls away. They said it will be crystal clear soon enough. You are hearing me correctly. And then they said goodbye. The next day they said, follow your heart. Your heart knows the way. Everything is an inside job. And then I saw a picture of a maze that wasn't real. And they said, yes, but you still have to find your way through it and out. An agreed upon maze that needs to be completed, even though it doesn't really exist. So the way I took that is this paradigm is illusionary, because it's not rooted in love, but it still exists, and we still have to find our way through the maze and out. And I think the maze so much is the maze of our own inner world and inner existence. So if each of us does our own work, we can be freed of this paradigm once and for all. I was given a blessing by Jesus, also known as Yeshua. The Arcturians know Jesus as Sanata, and they consider him to be the keeper of the earth. They told me my dog was sent to me by choice from the ethers to follow my heart. My heart knows the way. Everything is inside. Tomorrow will come on the wings of love. They said, tomorrow the night will be dark and the illumination even more piercing than the darkness of yestermorrows. I said, it sounds grim, but they said, fear not, it is time for this. We are sitting at the right hand of the Father. Will it be hard? I asked. And they said, it will be like birthing twins. A new day will be upon you. I command you to listen and follow your guidance, our guidance. The jurisdiction is not out yet. The sorrows of tomorrow are upon you and all the toil and frameworks of days past. Be of the light and all will be well. Love everyone and tell the truth. Again, I asked, should I buy food? And they said, sure, you can. It isn't necessary. All will be well. Follow the guiding light. Consciousness will be raised. There is no other way. The time is now to prepare for the changes that are upon you. And again, I got a blessing from Jesus. He called me sister of love and he put a crown on. Mid-month, little ETs greet me and are friendly. They pull up a piece of paper through a stack and they say, you've been baptized twice. I saw a golden chalice that was handed to me. I saw Neem Karoli Baba, Maharaji, as he's known in some circles, and I felt comforted by him. And then I saw my aunt, who's already she died, and she says that my mission is important, a lot counts on it, and that she understands my thoughts, and that forgiveness is important, and that this is something that I will have to work on. So as I read this, I think of my mission in part is forgiveness, right? Not just my mission to do this kind of stuff. I see a snake and a dragon, and I'm led back to a scene like Egypt. There's a businessman who is responsible for the chemtrails. I'm trying to understand him in his ignorance. He did have a turban on and he had a donkey, and it's like a desert scene and there's oil. And this is the reason for the chemtrails, they say. It is around resources and dualistic thinking of not enough. I then go to the fixed star Andromeda, and I see these beautiful crystallized buildings, and they said this is the land of milk and honey. I asked to see Jesus, and he comes through, and he says, only love. And then I feel guilty for buying so much food, and he says to enjoy it. And then I see darkness and ask how long, and they say 2 to 3 years, and by then there will be few places on the planet unaffected. Places that were primitive, like Peru, might be unaffected. And they said the other side, that they are remantling things or will be quickly, and that there will be light workers that will be left, and the earth will start to renew itself, and the oceans will be clean and feel pristine. How long? And I was told structures are already collapsing. Everything is being held together by a thread. I see a figure in armor, and he's peeing on the ground, and he says, troops on the ground, manipulating things to hold the earth together, and that where I live would possibly fall quickly, but there would be protection, and then that dualistic places will fall quickly, places where there's dualism between the light and dark would fall quickly. And I got a sense that my hometown would be intact for a while, but they said all will be determined as it comes up and not now. I got the sense that there would be changes between the week that I was speaking and the following week, and indeed there was no changes. So I asked, how do I know I am safe or no changes that I know of? And I was told to take care of my body and that all is safe. Why is this happening? And they said, not personal. Think of a game and then detach. I asked where will it start? And the Falkland Islands came up. The Middle East feels like a big concern. And then I saw Australia. I also got a sense there was going to be some protection in the Middle East for some reason. Levity. Each day will have a smile and a frown. You'll feel more alive and will find your own comfort. You'll have a sheet of protection. I saw Mother Mary and the road forward, and darkness seemed brief, and then this beautiful road to heaven. And they said, Judgment Day, it's in the records. Truth will predominate and be upheld. You will come as a truth seeker of the light, and your mission here hasn't even begun in its emphasis on what is to be accomplished. They said goodbye. And then I saw light workers on high, and the message is the time is now, and I felt nauseated. Was taken down a long corridor, and there's suffering and moaning in each doorway with hungry ghosts. I went through to the end of the corridor, and I saw this brilliant sky. And then I was hooked in on a spaceship and was taken to the Council of Five, which you can go look into Elena Danan's work, and there is such a thing as the Council of Five. You know, if you're mapping the ETs, they gave me keys and instructions and then a space suit, and they put something at my throat, and they said within 5 days there will be turmoil and I will get instructions. So I guess when I said something would happen in a week, actually something did happen personally in a week. And within 5 days, I did get instructions, but it was not the world, you know, it was my inner world that had, or my personal world that had, let's just say, a near miss. Let's just put it that way, a near miss of a person coming into my life who was masquerading as the light and doing a very good job. And I got a download through chanting that this was not a person of the light. And I unfortunately did share some of the information I got with this person. And then it came to me that there was some trickery. So I won't get into the ins and outs because it was quite deep. And then I was lowered down. I saw the ocean, and it had dirt in parts, but it was beautiful. And it will be cleaned up. The oceans will be cleaned up, they said. 2 days later, the ET's Enki possibly saying it will get better, and I felt crystal and the sense of healing. There was a big black pond, and in the center there was crystal, and around the pond were light workers, just kind of holding the space. I got a crystal on my third eye for awakening, and through multiple doorways, I saw fire, destruction, with the message that ends are inevitable. It's in the great book, and scholars have shown this for eons. I saw terror, global warming, the rights of the people. I was in a classroom and getting instructions. What is my role? I asked, and they said, be the people of change. And then down below, I see the nose of a plane and the president's quarters, and the then president back in 2022. And he was on a plane, Air Force One, with another player who has been a philanthropist and helping with GMOs. I won't give his name. I also saw a prime minister of another country in the East. I won't say who that was. And it wouldn't be a prime minister that I would think would have been on this plane. And they said you can control your own choices, but not this. And On Air Force One, I saw Beijing, Russia, the GMO guy, the president in 2022, and a prostitute. And they said there is a playbook, there's plotting. I asked if they were plotting World War III, and I was told no, worse, destruction of man. And the pilot on the plane was concerned. His name was Bartholomew. And yeah, I felt nauseous. Under the seat, there was sewage, secrets. I asked if the GMO guy was the Antichrist, and they said he's one of them. There are more than one working with the Great One. I guess they called like the devil, the Great One. And, I don't know. Goodbye, American flag is what I am seeing out of the window. Then unrest where I live. And then in the heartlands, I see dust in the Middle East. And I see, turbulence. And I wonder if Jesus will be reborn there. I see the Joshua tree. I see Europe. It's hard to pin a map on what I'm seeing. The cabal works through the UN. And this prime minister of a country that, is a free country, but this individual is a prime minister of this country, is involved. And I see the dates 1914 and 2027. And then Argentina comes up as a significant place. They say to watch for what happens next. It will be interesting. Denver, Palos Altos, Air Force One, mass destruction being plotted, a leader in Beijing. There will be a draft in plane, it says. There will be a draft in plane. I see the doors open and taking off, flying somewhere else. The pilot's very uneasy. And then I see this whimsical fairy in the ethers in a blue dress. And I ask, is this me? And Enki will help you through this. He says, you're not alone. Mother Mary holds my hand. They say that Putin's a pawn. They're making him the fall guy. There's a spy on the plane. I wonder if Bartholomew is like a biblical figure. I don't know. There was, I don't want to say, there's like, look his name up with Air Force One. At the UN, there's race cars. Then I can flash forward to race cars, beer, nuclear disaster in Europe. The winds will make a difference for England, where the crow flies due north. And then senator from Wisconsin could make a significant difference. I see Arizona, Iowa, Colorado, Idaho, Mississippi. All will determine what is next. Maybe that's in an election. I don't know. Be careful of who you talk to. People will turn on one another before this is over. Goodbye for now. And then the next day, light workers taken higher and receive a blessing. Jesus calls me sister of love. The dark days are coming. It will be darkest before dawn. Contracts are being signed on Air Force One, and India and Chilean leaders are together. I see a shaman with a suitcase, light on with a stethoscope over me. I get the message that I could rise above this at any time and reach for love and light. My aunt's laughing and saying, I'm here for you, and I shroud you in a river of love. And then something about something about Pablo Picasso, which came through in this interaction with this dark figure, this real person who came into my life, who acted like they were light, but they were really of the dark. And in the discussion with her, Pablo Picasso came up. And they said, you can find yourself always we're here. There are keys to the kingdom of God. Use them. I saw a white clothed person, brotherhood. I was taken very high into the clouds. I see these eyes. They're ETs. They say to go back through your notes. Go back and look through your notes, they tell me. And that the eagle flies high and is all-knowing and seeing, and the dark forces are among us, but also do not toil with them, and don't be afraid. I saw Mother Mary, and she hands me a rosary bead with a blessing, and then I saw a mirror that shatters, and I wonder what did that mean for me? And they said, let go of my shadow. At the end, I was able to fly above and see the land of purple and rainbows, able to fly free as I let go of my body, happily ever after. I wonder if it's real. I saw light workers around the globe holding hands and felt this powerful surge of energy. They said, does it feel real? And I said, it feels like this incredible healing energy. Then I asked him how, I do in a turkey trot. I ran a 5K because, some of the information in the Akasha I would love to get that is mundane. And they said, it matters not how you do, be kind. You don't know what other people are going through. And then I saw a wall coming up through the earth and felt this darkness, and Mother Mary pulled me out, which some of this has to do with this interaction with this person, like so much of this with the mirror and the shadow and Mother Mary being who pulled me out of this situation. So much of this happened back in 2022. So I see twins, Cairo, Beirut. Beirut has come up quite a bit lately too. A desert, clay, bombing, money being exchanged among soldiers, underground meetings, thieves, men, Saudis, Bill Gates, the GMO guy. I keep seeing red clay, and there's one of the 7 who is possibly different, worse, or better in the group. So I got a sense there was 7 dark people, and one was worse or better in the group. And then Imelda Marcos came up too. And then we're not even through November at this point, November 2022. I was taken to the council and then higher, given a blessing. I laid on a crystal bed. God then lowered down. I was lowered down with a key. Higher above was beautiful with colors, and down on earth was really dark, but I felt this bubble of protection. They said the path was laid out, just follow it. The time is near, dearest one. The time is near for you to step into the throne of God. I was frightened. Yes, there are pitfalls to navigate through. To be the one with the Lord is to let go of parts of the ego we cling to. It matters not what you do on the outside, but it matters what you do on the inside. Avoid toiling with distractions that have no use. Taken through the ethers, over despair and darkness, up to the higher realms, into the void. Jesus is there. He said, we will be free soon. We will be free soon, he says. And opened up a scroll with ancient writings, and it said, healing the divine. Felt that my body was being healed with love. Your purpose is to teach love, just love, to become an ascended master. And I said, what about my anger? And they said, your anger will go away. Allow it to dissipate. Allow all things to fall away as they will, and do not worry, all will be righted. I stepped through this corridor. They say, we are waiting for you, divine sister of love. We want you to know we are with you always. This is the next day. Understand that the time is now. The truth is unfolding before your eyes. Listen, the path of the dark one is now here. The seas of change are upon all of you. Treachery can be found in hidden places. I'm walking towards Jesus. I wasn't sure what it was. It was a bird. I wasn't sure. Was it an eagle? Was it a dove? I felt this crystal healing with aventurine, citrine, and then one on my lower chakra that was red. I looked down from a cliff and I saw turmoil, chaos. And then I got a message: Buddhism is a path to enlightenment, to keep meditating, keep going. And then I'm climbing up somewhere. But that's all I printed for now. So I am going to stop here. This is a lot. It's a lot for me to share. But I really grappled with, like, is this real? Should I share? Is it all like a dream when you go into the Akash? But when I do question and I look into like pieces of stuff that I get, like I can map it to what's happening in the news sometimes in the Akash. And often I'll open to the Bible and I'll get like messages that parallel what I'm getting in the Akash, almost like a reinforcement. Today I woke up like questioning, should I share this? And I opened to Jonah, the book of Jonah, which I just knew, Jonah and the whale. So I had to read about it. And then I had to like read, what scholars say about Jonah. And apparently he was a reluctant prophet. So I feel like that reluctant prophet, that, you question. So I invite you to question. I invite you to put questions in the comments, anything you want to share yourself that you've mapped personally. And I appreciate you listening to this. And I truly believe these words are not just meant as my words, but also words that you should behold and know that there's nobody better than another person out there. There's nobody who's wiser. We all have this inner wisdom, and we help each other unlock our own truths. We don't look to others for their truth. We look to others to help unlock our own truth. So goodbye for now. And I will be continuing to read as long as that feels right.